All right, good morning, good afternoon, whatever the case may be, where you are. Today we are going to be talking about non-restrictive phrases and appositives. Now, when it comes down to non-restrictive phrases and appositives, what they are is they are tools that can help you enhance or increase the level of writing that you write at. Now, to begin, I want to give you an kind of introductory reading to give you a better sense of what or how non-restrictive phrases and appositives can change your writing. So what I have here for you is I have a paragraph about schizophrenia. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to pause the video. I want you to read through the paragraph, and then once you've completed that, I want you to hit play again and move on with the video. All right, now that you've read the first paragraph, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to read through, and I want you to look for what do you think is different between this paragraph and the last paragraph, what may be better or worse, and what do you think you've learned more, which paragraph you learned more from, the first or the second paragraph. So hit pause, go ahead and read this paragraph. All right, now that you've read the second paragraph, let's take a look at them both. Now, I asked that you kind of take a look at which one was written better, what the differences were. Now, if you'll notice side by side, the two paragraphs are essentially the same. The base details are the same. Schizophrenia is affecting more and more teens each year, and that's what our first sentence is. The difference here is, in this first paragraph, there is more information. Okay, there's added information that we don't get in this second paragraph. Now, the basic information is the exact same. And if you understood all the words and all the phrases in this second paragraph, you would probably learn equally the same amount from the second paragraph as you did from the first paragraph. However, what this first paragraph does that the second paragraph does not is clarify certain confusing terms or phrases that maybe the average reader will not be familiar with. And what they're doing is they're adding both, oh, what have I done now? Okay. They've added appositives and non-restrictive phrases. So let's go to the definition of what a appositive and a non-restrictive phrase is. Both of these tools are phrases that can be injected into a paragraph, but are not needed there. The sentence does not need them to make its point. And a positive is, I've defined it as, a short phrase that clarifies the noun it follows. Now, here are some examples. Aaron Rodgers, the Packers quarterback, played in the Super Bowl. Now, this phrase right here, the Packers quarterback, that is our appositive. You'll notice it has to be offset by commas. Anytime you inject either an appositive or a non-restrictive phrase, you have to offset it by commas or by end punctuation if the appositive comes at the end of the sentence. And what it does is it basically rephrases Aaron Rodgers. Who is Aaron Rodgers? He's the Packers quarterback. Now, the trick to know if the appositive works or not, or any kind of non-restrictive phrase, is you can take the words in between the commas out of the sentence, and the sentence should still be a complete thought, an independent clause. So in this case, we take out the Packers quarterback, and we're left with Aaron Rodgers played in the Pro Bowl. That is an independent clause. It's a complete thought, so this is an appositive. In the second example, it says, my best friend, Tim, went fishing with me last weekend. Same thing. You see Tim offset by commas. My best friend and Tim are synonyms. They mean the exact same thing. So it's clarifying. And if we took Tim out, you would read, my best friend went fishing with me last weekend, which is a complete thought. Now, a non-restrictive is very similar. It is a clause or phrase that is provided by the writer in order to give the reader further information about the topic sentence. So it provides extra information that may not be needed for the sentence to make sense. However, the difference between the appositive and the non-restrictive is that the information included in between the commas is just extra information that will help the reader understand what the writer is talking about, whereas an appositive has to be a synonym for the phrase or word that it comes after. So Aaron Rodgers and the Packers quarterback are synonyms. They both mean the same thing. Okay, my best friend and Tim both mean the same thing. That is not the case in a non-restrictive phrase. Okay, so our examples, my dog, as he was chasing his bone, ran into the fence. So this phrase right here, as he was chasing his bone, is a non-restrictive phrase. It adds information to help the readers understand what the writer is saying. Now, once again, we offset it by commas in case it's at the end of the sentence. And we can tell that it's a non-restrictive phrase because if we were to take that section out of the sentence, the main clause or the independent clause would still be there and the sentence would still make sense. And the sentence would read, my dog ran into a fence, which would still make sense. The other example, I had, in the end, won. So in the end just adds further information, helps to make the writer's point more clear to the reader. And if we were to take out everything in between the commas, the sentence would read, I had won, which is a very simple sentence. All right, let's go back now to our first sentence. And I want you to once again pause the video. I want you to read through, and I want you to see if you can identify the appositives and non-restrictive phrases. So take a moment and do that on your computers. All right, now that you've paused the video and done that, I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you just where all of our non-restrictive phrases and appositives are. Now, right off the bat, we have schizophrenia, a mental disorder that impacts cognition involving sights and sounds. You have the two commas to show the readers that it's not necessarily needed. And a mental order that impacts cognition involving sights and sounds clarifies schizophrenia. Schizophrenia and this phrase are synonyms. Okay, schizophrenia is just the name for the mental disorder. If we were to take it out, it would read schizophrenia is affecting more and more teens each year. Okay, so there's our first appositive. According to data, though it is often disputed, this may be due to the ever-growing problem of synthetic drugs being used in a more widespread manner. Now in this case, we have though it is often disputed. Though it is often disputed is not a synonym for according to data. Though it is often disputed is giving extra information to help readers understand the sentence. Therefore, it is a non-restrictive phrase, and we can test that by taking it out and reading the sentence as, according to data, this may be due to the ever-growing problem of synthetic drugs being used in a more widespread manner. Okay, so there once again, non-restrictive phrase. Next sentence is, symptoms include, but are not limited to. So once again, but are not limited to is not a synonym for symptoms include. It is added information that we could take out. So that is a non-restrictive phrase. So but are not limited to hallucinations, both auditory and visual, which is an example of a non-restrictive phrase because it's extra information to help us understand the types of hallucinations. Paranoia, disorganized speech or pathology, delusions, and dysfunctions, both social and occupational. And in the same manner, we clarify the type of dysfunction. Okay, both social and occupational does not serve as a synonym for the word dysfunction, but rather adds extra information. With psychotherapy and detox, many teens are able to recover from their disorder. In the case of one man, John Nash, so John Nash here, we have our two commas that offset John Nash. And John Nash in this case is a synonym for one man. Okay, and you know that because we could replace it. We could say in the case of John Nash, but the sentence reads in the case of one man, comma, John Nash, and if you took it out, it would still make sense. However, due to the urge of addiction, okay, now we're back to additional information to help readers understand the statements. Many teens find the treatment program hard to stick to. So what you see here is all the red brackets are non-restrictives, and all the blue brackets are our appositives. And what we could do is we could go and remove all of those statements and they would still make sense. And in fact, we've already done that, and this is what it looked like. Okay. What we're going to do now is you are going to take a crack at your mastering activity. So what I've done for you is I have a paragraph written about last year's Super Bowl, and it's very straightforward, simple sentences. And what I want you to do is I want you to go through the paragraph, and I want you to inject appositives and non-restrictives to help a reader understand more about what was going on. So you're going to rewrite this paragraph, and in the paragraph, I want you to incorporate 2 appositives and incorporate 2 non-restrictive phrases. However, in some cases, you might have a great idea for a non-restrictive or a positive, but the phrasing that I've chosen doesn't really make sense with it. If you want to move the phrasing around a little bit to help you inject those appositive and non-restrictive phrases, you feel free. It doesn't need to be phrased the exact same way. So for instance, this sentence down here, I felt it was boring. You may want to rewrite that so it says, it was boring was the feeling that I got, or something like that. However you want to phrase these sentences so that you can do that. And then as always, once you get done, you can submit your paragraph to me, and I will give you your proficiency on this skill. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to go through the lesson again with you. Just let me know. As always, I'm here to help you out. So just let me know, and otherwise, have a great day and have fun enhancing your writing skills. See ya.